All In 2024 is this weekend as AEW hit Wembley Stadium for only the second time ever, and then they're going to take a little break. And they're going to come back in 2026. But Phil, we are here to predict All In 2024's matches from top to bottom, from pre-show to the main event. I'm Michael Hanford from WhatCulture. This is Phil Chambers from WhatCulture. And Phil, we're going to be there in person. We're going to be there as soon as doors open because everybody's going to come with us on a right from the Crystal Club to be there in time for the pre-show where Willow Nightingale will team up with Tomohiro Ishii, famous best friends, obviously. To team up with Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. This is kind of the build-up to a match that's going to take place at All Out, where the winner of this match gets to pick the stipulation in the singles blood feud. Who have you got for this one?
Well, it's Willow.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's a ludicrous match. Don't know quite what to expect from it, but it should be good fun way to start All In.
It's like very AEW to just randomly let you know they've got the Stone Pitbull on a summer excursion, and they're going to have him out in the beautiful Wembley sunshine. It's going to be quite a moment, that, isn't it?
Stokely Hathaway, of all people.
Yeah, he's going to absolutely. And Stokely's going to take a run at him, and he's just going to bounce into him and fall over.
Yeah, it's going to be dumb. It's going to be fun. It's not going to go long or like break the internet in like 5-star quality or anything, but it's going to be a really fun start to All In. But yeah, 100% Willow Nightingale.
Based on last year's Jeff Jarrett, Anthony Ogogo, Grado, Paul White nonsense, and our very own Simon Miller as a security guard for Miro. It's a nice way while people are getting into the building, I think, isn't it? That sort of thing. So yeah, I'm with you, baby faces for that one. And then we move on to the main card, and we'll start with one of the biggest matches of the entire night. The AEW World Women's Championship. It's timeless Toni Storm defending against Mariah May, of course, following on from Mariah May's turn, having won the Owen Hart tournament and having first arrived in AEW as, you know, the kind of the great understudy of Toni Storm that all along was looking to steal a spot. Can she go the whole way to Wembley and win the title in her home nation?
I have no idea. I'm completely torn with this one because, like, A, you've only just turned Mariah May, and to sort of cement this new heel turn and things, you kind of, like, traditional values would say you'd have them win to cement the heel turn. However, the feud's been pretty, like, blood feud. Like, as far as a blood feud goes, it's pretty blood. So you kind of need Toni Storm to have the big babyface win over the heel actions of Mariah May. So I'm torn completely between the two, but I'm gonna go Toni Storm for big feel-good moments in All In.
Toni Storm,
in the big venue.
To be fair, obviously has made such a name for herself in the UK as much as anywhere else in the world that it does sort of feel like a home base for her as well, doesn't it? I'm going with Mariah May. I think she wins here. I think it's violent. I think it's both a blood feud and cinematic. I think they're going to blend both here. It's going to feed into everything we've had with the story, so it's going to be a little bit wacky at points, but they're going to keep it just violent enough that it manages to sort of walk that tightrope. And then I think they run it back All Out with a stipulation of some kind, and maybe something like a first blood because they're both juice in this one or something like that. I don't know, but I'm thinking grisly fashion Mariah May gets it done. Sleeper hit possibly for match of the night as well, I would say.
100%.
Next, another championship is on the line. I was going to say the International Championship, but it's currently the American Championship as held by Adam Wilborn's best friend MJF. He's taking on Will Ospreay. It's a rematch from their Dynamite kind of classic, really, the 59-minute, 58-second match. It's become about America versus the UK. MJF has leaned in hard on that, knowing the kind of heat he could generate in the UK, but can he retain that belt?
No. I'm going flipping completely opposite side of this. Will Ospreay for the big win in his home country. Getting the belt back, turning it back into the international belt, throwing the US one in the bin at the end of the match.
Get him!
Suck it, America.
I kind of love your country, but get him!
And the big home, like not hometown, but home country win that I don't think we're getting in the Toni Storm one. See what I did there? You can't have everything.
No, that's fair. I'll never forget the reaction Ospreay got against Chris Jericho when I wasn't wholly convinced that then him not an AEW wrestler was going to get like that kind of reaction, but he honestly felt like they got their Davey Boy Smith moment with him last year, and I think it's shown quite a lot of discipline to keep him out of the world title picture when they can do that, any other big UK show down the road. This is going to feel just as big as a world title, and they've got a world title match to go with it, so I have to praise the booking and indeed agree with you. I think Will Ospreay saves the soul of the international title by reclaiming it. Another title.
What are they going to do with MJF's big American flag?
Oh my God.
That's the bigger question.
Sell it. Take it to the Crystal Club for Sweet Chin Disco, hang it up in the background, and I'll steal it when nobody's watching, basically. Those 50 MJF's heads. Another title is on the line next in a match that could kick real ass. It's Darby Allin versus TNT champion Jack Perry in a Coffin match. Now, We've seen them kind of enact various acts of violence on one another the last few months, but I would be remiss if I didn't at this point. Slight spoiler, if you haven't heard, but as we were recording this now, the news is a day or two old. Fightful Select has tipped everybody off with the news that Sting is telling people that he is headed to London.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to see Big Ben.
Maybe.
You know, maybe he just wants to see the site. Maybe go on the Millennium Wheel, something like
Go
that.
see if he can make one of the Queen's Guards move.
Yes! I'll Sting a splash against him and see if he just bounces off him. But something tells me he might be popping out of a coffin instead. Is this as simple? It's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrific. It's going to be violent. Is this as simple as just Sting's involved, Darby's involved, it's feel good? Or do you see like a sort of Derek twist coming there along the way?
No, I'm going to go with the feel good again. Darby, it's going to be a nuts match. There's probably going to be real glass. Crying me a river.
I want a glass coffin.
Yeah.
I want a glass coffin. I want a glass coffin that Darby Allin places Jack Perry on top of and Coffin drops him through it. But then they're both
into another coffin.
Through
a glass coffin, into another coffin.
Coffins and coffins all the way down. Victorian coffins.
Yeah. Jungle Boy. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be dumb.
Yeah.
Again, lots of chaos and just ridiculousness. But Jungle Boy's going to win. Not Jungle Boy, Darby Allin. I'm already changing my mind.
Question, if Sting is there, does he emerge from one of the many coffins that we booked to be ringside, or does he rappel down from the arch of Wembley?
That's a big rappel. That's a really big rappel to be trying to rig up during the middle of a match.
Yeah, with nobody
I'm
watching.
going to go with just appearing from a coffin. It seems much easier.
You're probably right. I'll give it. Will once said he ziplined down Wembley, and it's made me believe that anyone can do anything if he can do that. So. Mercedes Moné returns to Wembley, I guess, because she was in the crowd for it last year. She did an interview where she said that was a big part of what made her sign for AEW, because she realised the stadium was just as viable in the alternative as well as the WWE. And she's going to be wrestling Wembley for the first time against Britt Baker, who of course wrestled in the four-way that celebrated the rich history of four-way wrestling in the women's division. This is far better. This is the big one.
Yep.
The biggest star the company has ever produced in the women's division versus the biggest star they have ever signed. Mercedes Moné has linked up with Camille as her heater of late on television. Immediately that got people thinking, is this the night that Jamie Hayter returns, having lost her Wembley opportunity last year? I guess first of all, do you think it is a night for Hayter's return? And also, can Britt Baker become TBS champion?
I don't want to dream with Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
I think the injury, like the rumours and things that have come out about it have been far more serious than like people thought originally, and like there's been a lot of big question marks over it, so I don't really want to dream too much about that. So I'm going to go with a no, just to lower my own expectations, if nothing else. But I also think Mercedes Moné needs to win this and keep that belt run going solid. She's only just started. They can run this back at another point, obviously. This is the dream match as well. Like, when you were thinking of Mercedes Moné going to AEW, this is the one.
Totally.
This is the one you wanted originally. And to have it go off on the sort of biggest stage, and with like Britt Baker having gone off with an injury for ages and coming back, like they both need to have a great match with this, and I think they absolutely will. But I think the belt needs Mercedes Moné more than Britt Baker needs the belt.
I am going to agree with you on that, but disagree with you on Jamie Hayter. I think this is the return. Camille maybe cheats. She's the difference maker maybe for Mercedes come match time, and then when you've got 2-on-1, it's the way to bring Hayter. But even if she's not fully fit to wrestle or cleared or whatever, the music is one of everybody's absolute favourites. The pop that will generate in and of itself. We've been in AEW buildings where they would play that music just to get fans in the mood for the show. It was such a popper. So that hitting at Wembley and her charging the ring down the biggest stage, like the wrestlers are going to be more visible this year because of the Taylor Swift setup and that. I think that's as close as sort of like a perfect Jamie Hayter return as you could get, and I think they'll give her that even if it is in Britt Baker defeat. I'm with you there. Right, speaking of big title matches, one is going to be up for grabs for the winner of the Casino Gauntlet match. This was the third this year, I think. Both the other two won by Will Ospreay, but absolute critically acclaimed new match type that AEW revised. The current list of wrestlers, we've got Orange Cassidy, who will enter as number one, having won the right to do so. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, poor Evil Uno, and his former best friend Hangman Page, also announced on Wednesday's Dynamite. Can you see past Page winning as a route to the world title?
No.
It does say, per our good friends at the always reliable Wikipedia, that there will be 17 more entrants. Now, it's worth remembering, for those that don't know, with the Casino Gauntlet, it's over when it's over. So the wrestlers in your head are just in a big line backstage, and if you don't get to come out before a pinfall's registered, tough titty, said the kiddie. So there could be surprise entrance. Wilborn reminded me that Bobby Lashley is free.
Yep.
I posited Ricochet possibly making an appearance.
Potentially.
Well, there might be a little something on that. I don't know if we have to put a spot in it. But yeah, there's all these sort of people that could enter. I really want the Hangman Page, Jeff Jarrett standoff as the big climax to all of this.
Yep.
But it does feel like Page is to lose, doesn't it?
Climax to you as well. I assume.
Oh my God. I'm sorry about sitting there.
No, I'm going for Hangman Page with this one. It makes the most sense out of anyone in this storyline, especially like either way that the main event goes.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if like Bryan Danielson wins it, then you've got the God damn it! I was this close to getting it again, and now I've got this other thing. And then if Swerve wins it, then you've got that built in anyway. So it makes the most amount of sense, and I think this version of Hangman Page will sell this the best, regardless of what the outcome to the main event is.
Well, I'm with you on that one, by the way. I think it should be loads of fun. Honestly, I've loved this match. AEW have been in need of just tightening up their kind of like Royal Rumble type things. They've experimented with the card suits and things like that. Yeah. This is the one. They've absolutely found it, and it's theirs as well. It's like, it doesn't, like Orange Cassidy being first shouldn't sound like an advantage because we're so used to Royal Rumble. Yeah. But it is here, and we're going to get loads of him as well. Entrance pops, like the Beast Mortois hopefully being there. Yeah. It's just like the opportunity to just send somebody out for a nice moment, even if they get out there, get beaten down, and then it's on to the next one.
Absolutely. There's a potential with this as well. Like if they put on like a really, really great match for this and this kind of a stage, there is nothing to say that you couldn't take that, and they've been looking to expand like the pay-per-view schedule and things like that and turn it into its own pay-per-view if you wanted. Like I think if you cement this as a must-see match
for the world title shot,
for a world title shot, why not have it on its own pay-per-view?
I'd love that. It's one I'm looking forward to. Right, this is a few more variants. This is one of those, like, you know, when there's a number of different options of the potential winner. So when you're at the bar for Chris Jericho versus Hook, will he go for a lager, an IPA, maybe a soft drink, maybe one of the very expensive Wembley spirits? You got a sort of choice in mind, do you think he'll take?
IPA probably.
IPA, busy toilets as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've been flippant enough. It's Chris Jericho versus Hook. Even though Hook beat him 6 months ago to seemingly end this feud, it continues. Chris Jericho's also said he and Fozzy are going to do a performance.
Good.
But yes, Chris Jericho versus Hook for the FTW title. He's going to be presumably have like the learning tree.
What are they going to shine the Hook symbol on? There's no roof.
You see, I want this to go on very, very late for two reasons. Number one, the idea of
on the sky.
The Hook signal on the London sky. Number two, the show might be running long, it might get a bit cut for time. But either way, like the visual of the Hook signal does kind of make this all worthwhile. I'm rooting for Hook for more than the obvious reasons, but I'm really rooting for Taz. Just taking the jacket off from the announce table and just locking on the Taz mission on Chris Jericho. Something. I know he tweeted or whatever it was and revealed that like he's got like no fully functioning shoulders, arms, backs and legs or whatever. He's a broken down man from a very hard hitting style, but I would love to see Taz get a bit of revenge on either Big Bill or Chris Jericho. Just a choke, just something like that.
That would be really good.
And Hook getting the win.
And then Hook gets the win, and then at the end of it hands the belt back to Taz.
Yes.
And you can kind of just draw a line under it.
Love that.
And that can be like, here you go, it's had its story, it's back in your hands again. I gift it to you. Get it off TV because it's just been a bit strange in storyline wise.
They have a lot of belts, and that's the one they need the least, isn't it? I love that.
But that would also just be a super nice moment.
Yeah, that would be good. Right, tag titles on the line. A divisive one this. It's been a divisive year for the division, but the champions, the Young Bucks, will take on FTR and the Acclaimed. It's kind of a match that everybody saw coming, but had to pretend they didn't, as this is kind of like dragged in the build, and you've kind of seen through the Acclaimed.
It's going to be everyone.
Acclaimed got booed in Cardiff, which might speak to a wider malaise for that act, I don't know. The Young Bucks obviously returned to Wembley as the new kind of corporate heels. FTR remain baby faces, but people feel a bit sick of the FTR Young Bucks thing. What I'm asking here is, can this match wrestle people out of their slight disinterest that you feel bubbling under?
I think the match absolutely will.
Yeah.
Because there's 6 people who are very talented, and like the Young Bucks are at their best when they've kind of got their back against the wall
Bodies
a little bit, and they're trying to like, and when they're trying to prove something as well.
Yeah.
Which I've got a feeling this might be, like they're trying to prove that the tag division is great.
They want to steal this show to make a point.
Yeah. So and FDR are the exact same. So I think the match itself is going to be absolutely great.
Yeah.
Love it. The winner, I don't know A, who I want, and B, who I think.
Yeah, it's the Young Bucks.
Because they're different things.
Second defence of these belts, I think, in like 100 odd days at this point. So if they lose them, it won't have been a reign that you'd necessarily reflect well on, but it has been, I guess, part of the character that they don't necessarily defend the titles.
Yeah.
Neither the Acclaimed or FTR feel like the right teams to strap up right now, do they? I
think it makes more sense to keep it on the Young Bucks, but then actually do something with it afterwards. Like, use this as a realization point that the belts are nowhere near as high as they used to be in terms of prestige, and go, why not? Okay, this is it, reset, and then let's start this again and try again.
They could tell an interesting story of like factions within the elite. I know that's not for everybody all the time, but with Jack Perry potentially losing his title and Hangman Page winning his title shot. If the Young Bucks retain, there could be this idea of like,
inner elite
should he
hierarchy.
get back with us? Yeah, that kind of like, because he said he's nothing to do with them, he was just come back for Swerve, but they said, look, if you want to win the belt, we can pull some strings for you, that kind of thing. I think with the Young, it just doesn't feel like FTR in the Acclaim's time, but I'm interested to see if this one, I don't think it's right now being thought of as a show stealer, but I wonder if halfway through we'll realise that magic's happening in front of us. It'd be nice. I think it suits the card, doesn't it? Like the range of stuff on this.
Yeah.
It does need this. And I guess, speaking of range, there's a bit of a spoiler here, so anyone that is watching this, especially before Collision, if you want to go into Collision completely spoiler free, spin on a couple of minutes where we'll be on the main event, but the four-way London ladder match, the fourth team was confirmed on Collision. Spoilers coming now. It will be a trios match between champions the Patriarchy, made up of Christian Cage, Killswitch and Nick Wayne, versus Bang Bang Gang, which is Juice Robinson and the Guns. We've got the AEW, which is obviously Malachi Black, Brody King and Buddy Matthews, and the Bastard Combat Club of Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli and Pac, as he finally gets his...
Because why not, I guess.
He finally gets his Wembley moment. Obviously, it was long rumoured that this was going to be Death Triangle in the spot. The Lucha Brothers are seemingly going to WWE, so it's a nice way to slot Pac in. A couple of things on this. Do they just double down on that and have Pac win for the hometown pop? And, just I guess, separate from this match, do you see a spot on this card for an unannounced Jon Moxley, with him not being in his own stable here?
Potentially, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that, to be honest.
That's weird, isn't it?
The Pac thing, it's like, it feels like a consolation prize.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, because he did the whole promo, like 4 or 5 weeks ago or whatever it was, where he was like determined to be on this show and he's going to prove it every single week until he gets his shot, and then he disappeared from TV. And it's like, what are you doing? He's
got his title shot at All Out
in
the singles match, but this is different.
And I feel like it's just kind of got lost in the shuffle, where he definitely could have had a much larger role on this match. And I think arguably maybe being in the Casino Gauntlet would have been a better position for him, because at least then you get your own entrance. You can have like plenty of moments within the match itself, and like potentially come down to like the final dueling 2 or whatever. Like there's something you could have done to elevate him and his position within that, even if it wasn't winning it. Whereas this, it just feels like, well, I'm just sticking with them and here we go.
We got him on the show, sort of thing.
Yeah, there you go. What more do you want? There you go. There he is.
So with that in mind, then, who do you have to win?
I don't know. I think Christian and his group.
Okay.
Just because they're far more interesting to me to continue on as champions.
Mother Wayne holding a belt.
Yeah, it's just fun.
I think House of Riek retain. Okay. They're kind of returning to the place they lost the belts, but this time as absolute out-and-out baby faces, which is only relatively recent development. Now, I think the trios division, a bit like the tag division, the two have cancelled each other out and made both feel a bit like less valuable than they used to be.
Yeah.
The booking of this is very much in the same way as the tag, where Christian Cage should have known that by his meddling he was only going to add teams to it. But I think as baby faces, the House of Black stand a chance of, if nothing else, just having rippers all the time, just having banger matches in this trios division that otherwise doesn't get a lot of creative input, nor does it need it. Like they can just have like class matches, even on Collision or something like that. Maybe Killswitch costs the team. Maybe it looks like he's inadvertently hit Christian, but he's been absolutely fine with decking him, because that's at some point got to pay off as well. And I just think I'm ready for the Patriarchy to come to an end, because at some point or another, Adam Copeland's going to return, and it feels like we are running out of time for the Edge and Christian team. So I like the idea of when it's time for Christian to make Killswitch extinct, he's got Copeland as his like immediate like standing partner, and they can just get going on their thing as well. So I think they lose the belts at Wembley, and the House of Black get the win. Spoilers over, which takes us to the main event, the big one: title versus career. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for all the marbles. What's happening, Phil?
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of wish, like, it sounds really stupid to say that I hope Brian loses.
Well, you and Birdie Danielson.
Well, yeah, this is true with his family. But like it would make every stipulation where you put someone's career on the line from this point onwards in AEW feel a lot like more legit and
for sure,
a lot like have the stakes much higher because you've had that one where it's like, oh my god, like he actually did it, like he actually lost. And it's gone. And it's like, in terms of a stage for him to end his career, you can't ask for much more than the main event of a Wembley Stadium show in All In. You know they're going to have an absolutely incredible match. But then at the same time, I don't want to get Bryan Danielson off my TV. It's Bryan Danielson.
He's presumably going to walk out to the ring to the final countdown.
Yeah.
And we know that how much one play costs, so let alone having to play it twice if he actually wins the match.
Yeah. And the idea of Bryan Danielson going on the Ric Flair-esque one of every match is my last match, and like when I lose this belt, that's it, I'm done. And you can do a lot of stuff with that going forward. So there's a lot of TV that you can tell. It adds to the Hangman Page thing because it's just hilarious that he's finally won his shot and now he has to face Bryan and he's like, God damn it. And then potentially you could have Swerve screw him out of that and continue that to send that off to a proper payday down the line. So I think it's going to be Bryan Danielson, but a strange little part of me kind of hopes that Swerve wins.
I wonder, if the Hangman element, especially obviously because that'll be on the undercard, I would love Hangman Page coming out and actively trying to help Swerve win because he sees the match against Swerve disappearing in front of him if Danielson is to win the title. He fails, he falls short, and then you added the heat to the inevitable Page and Danielson encounter. But I really like that main event. That's like those of a certain age might remember Bret Hart and Sid having a cage match where Steve Austin and The Undertaker were trying to make their match for the title at WrestleMania. You've got that. Well, I hate you, but I want our match to be for the belt.
The only way.
Yeah, and like the moment that Page comes out and people realise what he's trying to do and screwing Bryan Danielson in Wembley, like the heartbreak of all of that. I just can't see them ending the show on such a, not sad note, but on such a tearful one. Like Shawn Michaels retiring at WrestleMania when The Undertaker gave him the ring, it'd be that, wouldn't it, ultimately? Probably Brie and Birdie like join him in the ring and he walks to the back and it's a wonderful moment.
Mick Foley at the end of No Way Out.
Yeah, there's great precedent for it. I can't see it at Wembley. If it'd be different if there was something like, say if they were going to announce they were coming back next year or there was some huge news or something like that, but it feels like this is proper end of show stuff. Yeah. And I can just picture Danielson in the fireworks. And I do love I'm win or retire, because every title match then has got all this sustained heat. Swerve as well on Dynamite, like going through the laundry list of who he's beaten, I think was telling. I think it was them telling you, look, this first reign has been a kind of success from a few early wobbles. Second time around it's going to be big. We've got a made man here. Like this title reign has worked.
Yeah.
It's done what we all said Swerve needed last year, which was just cement him at the top of that card. And I kind of eagerly anticipate the feud with Hangman and then him getting back in the mix.
Yeah.
I think Danielson gets it done. Not a dry eye in the house. Another 500 grand play of Final Countdown or whatever. They can't loop it though. Once they've played it once, they've got to play no music after that. Otherwise the show's going to end up making a loss. But yes, those are our predictions for AEW All In 2024. Let us know yours in the comments below. Let us know some of the surprises. Is Sting going to appear? Is there going to be glass coffins? Or anything else you think about All In 2024? And if you are in London, do not forget, tickets are still available in very limited number to the WhatCulture live show at whatculture.com/tickets. We'll be there from 12 till 1:30, a minute away from Wembley Stadium. The dot on the map overlaps with Wembley. It's so close. And then after the fact, we'll be going to the Crystal Club, where tickets will be available on the door for Sweet Chin Disco with our very own Adam Wilborn doing the MCing along with Max Caster and Prince Nana. It's going to be an awesome WhatCulture AEW day. We can't wait for it. And in the meantime, if you want to find out anything what we're up to over the London weekend, you can follow us all on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, where they can find Phil Chambers at
Phil My Chambers.
You can find me at Michael Hamflett. You can find our brilliant producer Adam Nicholas at It's Adam Nicholas. And until next time, Phil, if they're going to watch a video online, how would they do it, mate?
You can continue their YouTube journey right here.
We'll see you soon.